Hello class, in today's video, produced by Eric, Mitchell, and Owen, we will convince you why animal testing was required for the space race, why some animal testing was beneficial, and a counter-argument for those who disagree with the morals of it. See these two rockets? Both rockets are test rockets, to see not only if we can, but of how living organisms will do on the shuttle. Now, given this information, would you rather send a rocket with a human who had a life over 30 years, a family, tons of training, and thousands of dollars spent on them, or stray dogs who cost next to nothing, who has a fraction of the consequences or weight of their life? Well, it should be obvious here. The cost of something seeming risky like this, a dog will give us the same effective results as sending a human, but the fractions of the cost. It's only natural that animals like Laika the dog and Ham the chimp were sent up in place of humans.
Said animals mentioned were required to see if we could enter space. If it wasn't for Laika's sacrifice on 1957, November 3rd, we would not have known if we could even send ships up, and if it wasn't for Ham launched in 1961, January 31st, we would not have known if we could send humanoids up into space, or if we could control the ships up there, to put it simply. Without the sacrifice of Laika or testing of Ham, we would not have sent people into space, efficiently stopping the space race right then and there. This also allowed us to continue our research to see if it was safer to send humans up to space instead of just animals, which then allowed us to send humans into space for the first time. As well, experiments and tests on animals are of course just cheaper, but are faster. Take a NASA experiment in 2014, in which they sent up mice to space for testing of the effects of gravity on humans. Of course, mice are just cheaper, but since they are so much smaller and age much faster than us, the test results were expected several times faster than if we just used humans. This meant we could use our results a lot faster too. With this research being expected, humanity could expect more advanced space travel and space research to come sooner and last longer, all with being cheaper and easier to use and learn.
Though many condemn animal testing in space because it is immoral, after all, risking, oftentimes killing an animal, all for research, it's cruel, right? Well, I guarantee that you and a lot of those who would be arguing about this eat meat. Wanna know how many animals are slaughtered only annually for meat consumption? 80 billion. That is correct. Billion with a B. 80 billion plus, in fact, because that number has only been rising. In no sane world could you argue that the deaths of billions, likely trillions ever, have the same weight to their deaths to feed the hungry and the greedy as less than 1,000 animals, many of whom were sent up with hopes of survival, all for global scientific and engineering-based research. It would only be hypocritical if someone like you were to claim that the animal deaths of a few somehow outweigh the deaths of billions, much less the reasons for the deaths. Thank you all for watching this presentation. Hopefully, after watching our video, you will have been convinced of the facts that animal testing for space is required, beneficial, and actually quite moral. The rest of this footage will be our resources and minor behind the scenes screenshots.